What's up, gamers? This is Yuban with a Mechabellum replay commentary. Today we are featuring a doubleheader showcasing how to set up our board for the Assault Marksman Carry, aka ASSMAN. Going into Game 1, showcasing the first way to set up our Assault Marksman. We were feeling spicy this day and wanted to force playing Assault Marksman no matter what. And that led us to set our eyes on the supply spec, starting with Tarantula and 3 Marksmen in the beginning. We like starting with the 3 Marksmen whenever we want to play Assault Marksman because we want to let these units accumulate some experience from the early game on, as level are going to impact the range once we click on the Elite Marksman tech, and that makes a huge difference. Our opponent went for the training spec, also starting with Tarantula, and he is paired up with the Void Eyes for his DPS unit. I believe this pairing favors him in the first round because the Void Eyes don't overkill as much on the chaff units and they can make pretty short work of everything we have, especially with the intensive training tech. You can see that initially we wanted to go for the right side. However, after assessing our starting unit composition, we decided that we were going to be at a slight disadvantage, and I didn't want a chance of playing into a crossfire. Here we analyzed the cannon positioning and thought that our opponent is most likely going to push our left side, where there is no wall and no chungas. And luckily we guessed correctly, and we decided to go for the Fang for our early game chaff instead of the crawlers, recognizing that we wanted some more stationary, slow-moving chaff units. And look at this, early lock-on by our marksman. This should help us clear out our opponent's spiders in the process. But that's not before our opponent's really powerful level 1, level 2 Void Eyes make quick work of our Tarantulas in return. And with that, we're going to lose the first round as expected. However, now we know our opponent's hand. Round 2 reinforcement. Mustang is typically a pretty good unit to have supporting our Assault Marksman for later on. However, early game Mustang without range are just going to feed the Tarantulas a lot of experience. In this case, we didn't need the Arc Lights, nor the Steel Balls, as the Steel Balls would die to the Void Eyes really quickly. Arc Lights are redundant with our Tarantula. And that left us with the final choice of Phoenix, recognizing that our opponent doesn't have any anti-air in the moment, and he's choosing to ignore his weak side tower completely. That means we can pull off this kind of deep flank early tower debuff shenanigan. From here, we decided to use our extra supplies to just recruit more chaff units. Our opponent decided to put the Phoenix right on the line, essentially instant locking this pack of Tarantula. We decided to go for one more pack of Fang, guarding the corner, fearing something similar to, and then we put one more pack of Crawler in the back here, right on the line. We don't like to put the Crawler on the line in a deep flank because it becomes pretty weak to any kind of chaff clear unit, essentially giving our opponent a free pack of chaff unit to clear regardless. We like to put it right in the middle because it still helps us defend the deep flank if it does happen, but if not, this pack of crawler will arrive into the battle at a really good time. From here, with our extra supply, we grab the attack enhancement and we put one more pack of Fang right in front. Same thing, just to prevent our Tarantula from getting instant locked by our opponent's DPS units. In this case, we're really happy that we did so, because that's going to help us defend against the front-facing Phoenix right away. And with our marksman locking onto the Tarantula once again, we should be able to take out this Tarantula before our Tarantula gets taken out by the DPS. And look at this really nice tower debuff timing, allowing our Tarantulas to stay alive for just a little bit longer to clear chaff units. Let's see if this is enough for us to take out the anti-air. Great. Allowing the marksman to grab some experience. Fantastic. And we take a small victory on round 2, striking back. Round 3 reinforcement, redeployment is phenomenal in this case because we can move our Phoenix around. However, we already run the jump drive tech, and it costs the same to take the redeployment. In this case, recognizing that we need levels on our marksman, and we also need levels if we want to get into a equal Tarantula mirror, we decided to grab the intensive training instead, matching our opponent's training spec. We decided to put one pack of Tarantula in the back here. You'll notice that initially we put it here, but we decided to put it behind the marksman, fearing that our opponent would do a mobile beacon maneuver with the crawler to pull everything further back. And if he commits heavier into this deep flank, then we want to have this Tarantula ready to go. From here, you'll see that we try to call our opponent's bluff of defending here. Typically, after you put the Phoenix down in this deep flank, you are likely to jump drive it away back into your main army or into a defensive posture, or you're going to sell it. Especially with a redeployment card showing up in the reinforcement, there's an even higher likelihood that I would just simply move the Phoenix. Our opponent decided to put down his own pack of Phoenix in the back here to defend our Phoenix. And so what we chose to do was to move our Phoenix back, deploy a new pack of Crawler, and now that this pack of Phoenix are already warped in, so they will instantly kill the Phoenixes and potentially grabbing ourselves another tower debuff. Unfortunately, we ran out of money and couldn't make use of the intensive training. And in this case, we just decided to intensive train our newly recruited Tarantula, just so we don't waste any of the experience that's been accumulated. Our opponent added 2 more Tarantulas in the process, but with this early tower debuff, maybe it's going to give us a chance in taking out this level 2 Tarantula with our level 1. Doesn't seem like it. However, the tower debuff timing seems to have helped us quite a bit in defending this really powerful push. And look at our marksman in the back, gaining some really nice experience from killing the Tarantulas and the Void Eyes. With the Phoenix out of the air, despite our opponent's powerful push, we're going to essentially scam this round and grab another victory just by air dominance. Round 4 reinforcement, redeployment shows up again. It's like Bear-like really wants us to take the card. We had no choice but to take it. And now the mind game begins, because we have both jump drive and redeployment at our disposal. We know our opponent is going to commit his defense to this deep corner here. And we try to call his bluff once again by moving our Phoenix to the front deciding that essentially deciding that he's not going to defend the front of this tower because he has a cannon, and he's going to commit some units to this backside. He needs some kind of chaff clear, and he needs a chaff unit to defend against the Phoenix and the crawlers. Our opponent went for the range enhancement right away. I think in this case it's a right choice because he has DPS units right behind his Tarantula. So if we were to put down like a Sabertooth or some kind of medium-sized tank unit in the front to try to lock up the Tarantulas, they're not going to stand a chance in front of these high-level Void Eyes. For us, instead, we chose to grab the high explosive ammo because we were fearing, because our Tarantulas were lower level, and we didn't want to have our Tarantulas instant locking onto our opponent's Tarantula, essentially disabling our chaff clear ability. So this is a very cool case of both of us going for different lines of tech. With our Phoenix in the front, you're going to see that we placed it right in front, so it's not going to get pulled into the Fang pack. And from here, we ran out of money again to even level our Tarantula. You see that we placed the Phoenix in the last second vertically because we didn't want both of our Phoenixes to shoot at the cannon and overkilling it. I want the frontline Phoenix to kill the cannon and the backline Phoenix to move forward during that time to grant us a tower debuff. Unfortunately, the backline Phoenix got distracted, but that doesn't matter. With our HE tech, we're able to clear all the frontline chaff, allowing our marksman to lock onto the Tarantulas on the right side here and grab us another round of nice victory. At this point, I don't believe that our army is actually stronger than our opponents. We simply just were able to win and survive the rounds from our 3 rounds in a row of tower debuff. However, by winning these 3 rounds by attacking the weak side tower with minimal resources, it's finally allowed all of our Tarantulas to level in the front. And look at our marksman. We have a level 2, 3, 2 available. Reinforcement, underground threat, and missile strike are both phenomenal in this case. We don't have any giant units for the barrier. Underground threat can grant us another tower debuff, while the missile strike is a guarantee pack of chaff gone unless our opponent goes for some kind of shield. We decided to go for the missile strike because we thought that we wanted to missile out something here and try to pressure our opponent's tower once again. This time we decided to grab a wasp, move our crawler to the corner, and we're going to mobile beacon into this tower. The idea is the crawler are going to draw out any sentry missile attempt and allowing our wasp to not get targeted by the Tarantula and allow us to grab a tower debuff. Our opponent had enough of our tower pressure shenanigan, decided to go for a shield, a forward-facing Tarantula, move the fangs in front, and just go for a full-on commitment to the defense. And he's trying to give us a taste of our own medicine by putting the underground threat in the middle with a deep flank crawler on the side here. The idea here is this pack of crawler is going to pull any crawler we have in this area into the corner, allowing the underground threat to have free reign in the middle of the board. We recognize that we were weak to underground threat, and our solution here was 1 pack of crawler in the back, using our intensive training to get it to level 2, because we know level 2 pack of crawler can take out the underground threat entirely on its own. From here, just leveling our tarantulas finally, believing that our HE tech was the correct choice. And let's just set up our board of chaff clear units, frontline tank, and we missiled out one more pack of chaff in the process. It seems like with our opponent's Void Eyes gaining good levels, especially at the level 3, our tarantulas are simply dying way too fast. And that leads to our marksman in the back being stuck shooting at the late arriving crawlers. And look at this, without the tower debuff, we ended up taking a tremendous amount of damage on round 5. Going into round 6, one of the best items for the assault marksman shows up, the laser sight. And here is where I want to talk about one of our favorite ways, and I think one of the best ways to set up for assault marksman. That is to set it up late in the game and go for a double tech to surprise your opponent and to gain that momentum in the single round. Typically, going assault marksman mode early is going to lead your marksman to their death because of the reduction in the attack range. And we usually don't have enough money in the early round to grab the range enhancement right away to supplement it. Some players like to grab the range enhancement first and then grab the assault mode. I think that's a negative tempo play because the range enhancement won't do anything in the early round with them being safely behind the tarantulas. So instead, in our case, we took the item as our sign of, okay, this is our time to make a move. We just lost a big round. Let's grab the double tech, have these marksmen still safely tucked behind our tarantula's range. This is another reason why we haven't grabbed the range enhancement yet. And let's see if with the 9-meter splash, hopefully with the help of our tarantula and marksman, we can clear chaff fast enough and eventually take out our opponent's tarantulas in the process. From here, we decided to take another stab at our opponent's board, weak side tower, by jump driving our Phoenix and moving our Wasp to the side, recognizing opponent already moved his Fangs. So our air units in the corner are going to be uncontested. Let's see if this works out in the end. At this point, I really should have been grabbing the range enhancement after the last round. I should have recognized that our tarantulas were dying way too early because they were moving forward and getting targeted by the Void Eyes. And I should have been okay with our marksmen moving forward because they're honestly just as tanky as our tarantula. I wouldn't have minded having some extra set of tanks. Instead, we just grab one more assault marksman to reinforce our weak side tower and to potentially help with our push. You can see our deep flank here is not doing a whole lot. It's going to arrive way too late, and by then, once again, our tarantulas are just targeted down. But with the help of our assault marksman, we're able to take out one barrier, take out a little bit of these level 3 Void Eyes. However, when you lose the chaff clear war this hard, there's really no coming back. Doesn't matter with the tower debuff either. Here, hopefully we can win by air cheese again, but with this many Fangs on the board, it seems like we're going to lose the round once again and take another round of over 1,000 damage. This is looking a little bit dire now that we don't have these constant tower debuff to help us. Round 7 reinforcement. We noticed that we were pretty slow at breaking down the barrier, and our opponent's tarantulas were pretty stationary with their range enhancement. And these void eyes actually end up kind of moving forward and clumping up next to the tarantulas. So we decided to grab the Stormcallers. We were not too afraid of anything else on the board because we're running Assault Marksman. We have our anti-air, we have our anti-air splash, and we just need a little bit more help from our Stormcallers here. Recognizing finally our tarantulas were dying way too fast, and we decided to grab the range enhancement. At this late stage of the game, with our assault marksman lined up to our tarantula, we were less afraid of our HE range tarantula locking onto our opponent's tarantula. Because if the tarantulas are locking onto our opponent's tarantula, likely our own marksmen are going to lock onto them as well. That means we'll have a clear line of fire to take out our opponent's chaff clear unit, which is the most important part of this matchup. We decided to move our backline tarantula forward to help with this corner streams of chaff units, recognizing opponent moved out of the deep flank. Here I think we finally decided to just get out of this deep flank shenanigan. Let's stop wasting our resources and just focus on defending. So we sold out of our Wasp, moved our Phoenix to the front here, recognizing there's no anti-air in the front, so our Phoenix can just snipe down the Tarantula and the Void Eyes. I say that, our opponent grabbed the double tech, aerial spec, aerial mode, and range enhancement, effectively bringing these Void Eyes right behind the Tarantula's protection. And then he tried to do this instant lock action here. But with the HE tech, at least we're able to clear one pack of chaff in the process, and look at how fast our opponent's tarantulas all fell. Just with the combination of marksman, Phoenix, and these ranged tarantula. All of a sudden, we turned the tide and completely dominated the left side of the push. And with this tower debuff, our newly deployed level 1 marksman is going to actually take out the Wraith in the process, granting it 1 level and finally striking back with confidence against our opponent. Going into round 8 with both of us around 1000 HP, I think this could be potentially the last round. Opponent grabs the shield airdrop, not photon emission, while we decided to skip. We chose to skip this nice spell because our opponent was heavy into the Void Eye. We thought if he went for the charge shot tech, no shield is going to stand a chance. At the same time, our missile strike came back, and we just decided to go for something safe. We couldn't take out the level 2 Void Eyes with a missile. Instead, we just wanted to take out some chaff units in the process, slowing down this right side push. And finally, we decided to grab the final tech to complete our Carry Assault Marksman formation, the Elite Marksman, granting us extra damage and, most importantly, extra range, allowing this level 4 marksman with the item to almost instant lock onto our opponent's tarantula. And with 20,000 damage per shot, it's going to take this guy out very quickly. From here, we decided to defend the right side a little bit, not wanting a untimely tower debuff against us. We also moved our Phoenix in the back, fearing some kind of crazy deep flank distraction to lock up our marksman and chaff units. Opponent went for the EMP hacker at level 1 with 125 range, our marksmen are actually going to outrange the hackers very easily. This is typically a good counter against the assault marksman early in the game if we had clicked assault mode right away as the first tech. However, with us triple teching already, I'm not sure how much this is going to do. Let's see. And you notice we have a deep flank marksman on the side here from last round, trying to pull some of the chaff units away to delay our opponent's push. From here, we just beacon our crawler back to help us with a defensive posture, and also pulling all the units towards the center of the battle. Okay, seems like our marksman is going to instantly get locked on, but that bought enough time for us to take out this corner tarantula, while the stormcallers, despite the AM devices, are still helping us quite a bit with the shield break. And with our range superiority and the splash damage from our high level assault marksman, we're going to instantly take out all of the aerial void eyes in the process. And that is going to grant us a strong round of victory. Not sure if this is going to be game or not. Seems like we barely win the game by 28 HP damage. So this is the first way of playing assault marksman. Getting your marksman in the back, getting a few of them, not revealing your hand, and just focus on building a good board of chaff units and chaff clear. And then around round 5, round 6, when the situation is right based on your assessment, you go for the double tech assault mode and range enhancement. And from here, you can look to get the elite marksman later on. And that's our way of playing. Let's see if our opponent could have won the game if he had not gone for the hacker route. I think he should have gone for a Titan to close out the game. Let's see here. In this case, we'll sell out of a Wraith. Or do you go range? You go HE. I think he needs HE. Or just go for a Titan here. No money for a beacon. Let's go level 1 then. Level 1 beacon. Move it forward. Let's get our Wraith in the battle to help with chaff clear. Too bad our tarantulas don't have HE. And they're way too far forward. See how he's 3 squares forward while our tarantulas are like 7 squares forward? That makes a huge difference. We just need to prevent the tarantulas from dying too quickly, to buy time. And let's just put down a shield here. Okay. Let's see if the War Factory can do something. It's moving forward, but by then, look at this. Our chaff clear units are all dead. It doesn't seem like it's going to do too much. Maybe. Still enough left on the board. Look at this. Titans are still just good. Not good enough. I think if we have played the Titans a little bit better, maybe here, a level 2 Titan, it could have won the game. Very cool. Let's jump into game 2. Game 2 against our opponent TZA or ZA. We also were feeling spicy that day and wanted to play Assault Marksman no matter what. From our starting packs, we decided to grab the Tarantula with Fangs, one of the best pairing for the Tarantula push in my opinion. Paired up with the economic boost on round 4 with the Typhoon spec, we're going to try to force our way by playing Assault Marksman. Opponent also started with Tarantula and is aerial spec. In this case, when we looked at our opponent's starting pack, we thought there's a high chance that he's going to play Tarantula Raiden or Tarantula Phoenix. And there's even a good chance that he's going to play some kind of air unit on round 1. So that kind of fits our goal of playing Assault Marksman pretty well. We deployed 2 marksmen right behind our Tarantula for the same reason that you saw from game 1. We want these 2 units to have the same targeting whenever they can. So as soon as the Tarantula has finished chaff clearing the front line, I want the marksman to target the chaff clear or the tank units as soon as possible. From here, we always put down this 1 pack of Fang 1 to 2 tiles in front of our weak side tower to just help the cannons last a little bit longer and defend a little bit. Unfortunately, our marksmen are stuck shooting on crawlers while our Tarantula is stuck shooting at our opponent's Tarantula. But seems like in this case, we're going to be okay. With all of the chaff units cleared and only 1 Tarantula left alive, our remaining marksman is going to be able to snipe this guy down and grab a instant level on round 1. That's exactly what we want to see. Here's a scenario where we click Assault Marksman early in the game, before round 6, before round 5. Potentially we can click it round 2, round 3. One is when this card shows up, the Extended Range Marksman. This was a perfect card as the extra 30 range buff allows our marksman to stay relatively behind the Tarantula still. And the little bit of HP and attack damage is not too bad. If this card had not shown up, I think this could have still been a good game of just clicking assault mode on round 2. Because we're in a very close-up headbutt. Instead of, unlike the previous game where we place our Tarantulas behind or aligned with the cannons, both of us are merely 3 to 5 tiles in front of the line. Allowing these assault marksmen with the movement speed and the tankiness to move forward and potentially even helping out with the Tarantula by locking the Tarantulas onto these units. So we grab the card, we grab the tech right away, and with our remaining supply, we just grab 2 more packs of chaff. Our opponent went for a front-facing Phoenix, as we had sort of expected, to instant target our frontline Tarantula. And fortunately, our marksman here in the back was able to lock onto one of the Tarantula in the process, allowing us to at least take down the 1 Tarantula, minimizing the damage that we're going to take on round 2. Round 3 reinforcement, Assault Scorpion, pretty good. Missile Strike is phenomenal in this case, because how clumped up our opponent's units is in the front, and we wanted to snipe down this pack of Phoenix. At level 1, without jump drive, either he had to sell out of it, or he had to accept the fate of this pack of Phoenix going down. And that means he's going to lose out on his damage dealing unit in the front, while we are going to continue to build more assault marksmen in the back as they can actually take out the tarantulas fairly quickly once they lock on, especially at level 2. Opponent recognized that this pack of Phoenix is most likely done. He decided to grab one more pack of Phoenix on the right side here and designed a very juicy missile strike, targeting 2 packs of chaff units and damaging our other units in the process. We didn't want to defend against the wasp swarm with any deployment because we wanted to concentrate our forces here so we can win the battle and accumulate experience. However, we also recognize losing a tower early can essentially spell doom for the rest of the battle. And we decided to put 1 marksman in the back and 1 tarantula slightly in the back, recognizing that we are weak to our flank, and we also don't mind having a later arriving tarantula for another layer of chaff clear. Look at this. This late arriving tarantula doesn't lock onto our opponent's tarantula and is able to chaff clear effectively. And in the meantime, our assault marksmen are doing work on our opponent's tarantulas, allowing us to take out the frontline army and grab another round of victory. And to me, I care less about the HP damage in this moment, but I care a lot more about just accumulating more experience onto our marksmen. Sorry guys, we have to jump to round 5 and skip round 4 because there was a glitch in the replay. Round 4 we had unit reinforcement, and both of us grabbed the level 3 Void Eyes for a little extra damage per second. And our opponent sold out of the Phoenix and used his aerial spec and the mass-produced Overlord card that he grabbed earlier to bring down 1 Overlord. Here, round 5 card reinforcement. It's early enough for us to take the efficient light manufacturing. However, these 2 spells are also just phenomenal for the tempo. Recognizing that these marksmen are already cheap enough, we don't need them to be 50 cost. We would rather have a spell that could potentially give us a tower debuff in the process. And so both of us ended up grabbing the underground threat in this case. I don't think opponent's corner underground threat is going to do too much with our tarantula maybe turning back, but most importantly with the marksman here. A level 1 marksman can take out, level 1 assault marksman can take out an entire pack of crawler just through sheer tankiness and the splash damage. From here, we just build more assault marksmen. We wanted a board of nice and wide assault marksmen supporting our Typhoon, having some defensive posture, and just have them as both chaff clear unit and the eventual carry tank. Let's see how this goes. And from here, we grab the HE once again as the first tech. Our opponent did the same thing, as we are in a very close range headbutt situation. The range enhancement would just hurt us more than helping. And you can see here, with the assault marksman on the right, we're able to clean up most of our opponent's powerful push. However, these Overlord, even though they are mass-produced, they still one-shot our level 1 and level 2 assault marksman in the process. Round 6 reinforcement. Bombard is bombard. If this spell can help us take out 2 to 3 packs of chaff in the process, then it's well worth the money. Even though intensive training is very tempting to get our marksmen as beefy as possible. In this case, we thought we need some tempo in the game. We cannot let these overlord get out of hand and just shut down our assault marksman line. Opponent went for the exact same thing, maybe thinking the same, that these orbital bombardment can take out the chaff units fairly fast. In this case, I think we have fewer late arriving chaff units, and I don't really mind if the bombard hits our assault marksman. And you can see here, elite recruiting more level 2 assault marksmen, forming a line, starting to sell out of our Void Eye. Even though they do pretty good damage, I thought that having more assault marksmen at high level is going to be even better. And I guess in this case, we decided to sell out of our Typhoon first, recognizing, hey, we bluffed enough pushing into this tower. Now that it's level 3, and potentially he's going to overcommit to more units on the left side, let's back out of it and refocus our push on the right side. And by doing so, we put one marksman in the back, you can see here, holding 2 packs of chaff units, allowing our frontline assault marksmen to lock onto the overlord with ease. And with our splash damage and resilient to the bombard, it seems like we're going to be able to strike back and take out our opponent's overlord push. And once again, what we care about the most here is to win the rounds and accumulate experience. The more experience and levels we can get on our marksman, the stronger this elite marksman tech is going to be. But for now, we're happily taking the small victories. Round 7 unit reinforcement. One of the weakness to assault marksman is definitely the EMP tech. And to counter that, we decided to grab the Farseer double drop and anticipate positioning them in a way that we're anticipating to grab the photon emission tech if our opponent chooses to go for the electromagnetic shot. In this case, seems like our prediction was correct, and we're going to be able to defend against this tech once we see it. Opponent recognized how annoying our deep flank was, decided to go for a deep flank of his own, and then went for another tech to apply electromagnetic effect onto our marksman, the EM armor. With the forward positioning of these Void Eyes, I think a lot of our marksmen are going to lose their triple tech after we just tech the elite marksman tech. However, I would say this armor is not a super effective tech against the assault marksman. As you can see here, it only influences your unit for 4 seconds. And they're likely going to die. The entire pack is likely going to die in one shot. So our marksmen are going to get EM'd for 4 seconds, meaning they're going to stay back in the army with their range enhanced, with their range gained back. And then by the time that they're ready to take another shot, the EM effect is going to be worn off. That's what I think. So let's see how the interaction goes. Luckily, we do have this Tarantula now with range and EM, and see, they get EM'd, they stay back for 4 seconds, and then right away they regain their tech ability. And the Farseer in the back with the EM explosion couldn't do anything before they get close to the marksman. So it seems like our opponent's attempt at disabling our assault marksman tech is not going to work out so well. And that leads us into the round 8 reinforcement. Opponent went for the Wasp Swarm, while we also chose to go for the same. Our thought here was to essentially have some air chaff that are not so easily cleared by our opponent's Tarantula, so we can stall the Overlord a little bit longer. Our opponent had the same idea. He wanted to stall this left side push. Now that we have a level 3 Assault Marksman, even a level 3 tower and the Farseer are not going to be enough. On our side, we decided to grab the Photon Emission on the Farseer and just elite recruited even more marksmen, recognizing that these guys are doing such a good job both as chaff clear and carry damage dealing units. Let's just get more of them and try to overwhelm our opponent. Recognizing that this might be the very last round with our opponent down to 1300 health, we just went for tons of missiles in the process, trying to clear out the early chaffs, allowing our marksmen, now with Photon Emission, to have a direct line of shot at our opponent's chaff clear unit. Even though there's only a few packs of crawlers coming in, just by delaying our opponent's chaff clear, it's allowing the Overlord, allowing our units to stay alive from the Overlord's double tech. And with these high level units left alive, I don't think it's going to be the game yet. However, once again, by cleaning up these high level Overlord and Farseers, our momentum is just building. Our units are scaling really hard. Going into round 9 unit reinforcement, we're thinking here, this has to be the very last round. So we decided to grab these sledgehammers, go for a cell on one, and then another pack in the back here to stall our opponent's deep corner. Recognizing that even this Overlord here, this level 2 guy, is getting pulled back. So the longer we can delay this Overlord, the sooner we can destroy our opponent's front line and have a clean line of shot at the Overlord. Opponent went for the same unit pickup, going for the level 3 sledgehammers with field maintenance. With 15,000 damage HP, these units are going to essentially die right away in 1 to 2 shots from our assault marksman. I don't think the field maintenance is going to be a very good counter, especially when they're placed like this. Our assault marksman should be able to take them out before they even warp in. Opponent recognized the delay of this Overlord was causing a lot of harm. He decided to go for a forward Overlord beacon, and we decided to go for a missile strike, trying to target this pack of level 3 crawler to open up a channel for our underground threat. In the meantime, we're covering our flanks and covering the back of our bases with our assault marksman, so we're not afraid at all. Look at this missile here. Take out the level 3, allow our crawler to stream in, and this is effectively stalling one entire Overlord for the entire round. Look at this. 2 Overlords turned around to shoot at 1 to 2 crawlers. And this is buying us time to allow these scaling assault marksmen in the back, now with 180 some range, to just clean up the rest of our opponent's board. And with that, we take game on round 9. But this game, we decided to tech our assault marksman mode in round 2 for 2 reasons. 1, the extended range marksman. 2, because we were in a very close range headbutt, where the tankiness and the movement speed would have been an advantage in the case. And from here, we just decided to build our chaff clear well enough to allow these backline ASSMAN to do all the work in both chaff clear and in terms of damage dealing. Look at how much damage these guys are dealing here. 300,000 damage. That's insane. Very good. Let's see what our opponent could have done on round 9 to have turned the game around. I think Sandworm could be good. I definitely wouldn't go for any medium-sized units. Maybe the Stormcallers, hey? Like, target a little more missile damage. Go for the underground threat here. Honestly, underground just doesn't do that much because of our opponent's tarantulas with HE. Go like this. Missile out some chaff units. Defend our own underground with this. This is gonna be safe. Maybe go for something like this. Let's sell out of the Farseer. Get some shields. I don't mind if they get popped early. Missile. Too late on the missile. Okay. With a Overlord here, we take out the chaff clear. But now it's locked onto it. But look at this. If we don't get distracted too much, these level 2 overlords actually do okay. But by then, I think our ASSMAN have just scaled out of control. Look at it. 30,000 damage per shot. Do we go more into the Overlord? Maybe. Does Stormcallers do anything? Try this. Sandstorm? Sandstorm. Why not? Okay, we'll stall this side here. This is hilarious. Take out this. Definitely respect. I want to go. Let's pretend we know he's gonna missile us. Let's just do a little map hacking here. Protect the tarantula. Let's see if an early tower debuff can be effective. Okay, Sandworm helping out, killing the assault marksman. Crawlers, the left side is just losing so hard. But look at this. We get a tower debuff, we get Sandstorm still coming up, and it's a better round for sure. Yeah, I think we could have played that a lot better and maybe have This definitely helps him survive, right? How much damage was that? 700 damage. Yeah, he would have survived. I think if we had played that beacon better, we could have won with a sandstorm. Or just the sandworms in general. Let's try it. Let's map hack again. With HE, which is pretty good. I wish we have a wasp production. Grab one more. Any speed? I need chaff. I need chaff coming in for the later. For later. I think we need to draw the beacon this way. Level 1. We don't need oil. Do we get defense? Or do we get level? Let's try defense. Hope for the best. Okay. Sandworm, this time with no sandstorm. It's gonna be better or worse? Okay, the late arriving crawlers are going to help us, yeah, protect the overlord from these marksmen. And but everything's dead already. Okay, let's see if the remaining overlord with our beacon line can get a tower debuff. I think we can. Let's see. Look at that. No sandstorm, but just going for counter aggression wins the round. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah. Well, that concludes our double header highlighting how to play Assault Marksman. I hope you guys enjoyed these two games. If you did, please check out the videos above me for more Assault Marksman gaming. And yeah, until next time, take care.